So this is what you can expect when you're just whispering into the microphone, which is over here, by the way.
Do not forget to turn on this one hidden.
So filmmakers say that the best camera you have is the one that you have with you, while Apple is now saying that the best microphone you have is also the one you have with you as well. All right, so it seems that Apple is trying to just bridge the final gap here because they figured Apple fans that are using iPhones for content creation, they're probably going to have AirPods with them at any given time. So I'm going to test the microphone out against the usual suspects to see how well it does and to determine whether or not that these microphones on the AirPods are going to be good enough as a last resort if that's all you have.
Before we begin the tests, there's one hidden setting you need to know about. While you're in your Blackmagic Camera app, go to the top right corner, swipe down, go to Blackmagic Cam Controls up top. Then towards the bottom, select either standard or voice isolation. Do not leave it on automatic. Standard is going to keep a little bit of the background noise, while voice isolation is going to try to eliminate it completely. This is an audio test coming from the back microphone of the iPhone 17 Pro. We are currently set to the standard mic mode. We're in a non-sound treated room. I'm about 4.5 feet away. This is what it sounds like. So now you're listening to the AirPod Pro Generation 1. The mic is set to standard, and this is what it sounds like in a non-sound treated room. Now you're listening to just one of my AirPod Pro 3s. The microphone is set to standard in a non-sound treated bedroom. This is what it sounds like. I am now wearing both of my AirPod Pro 3s. We are currently in the standard mic settings. This is in a non-sound treated room. This is what it sounds like. I am now wearing my Hollyland Lark M2. Believe it or not, you can actually set the microphone to standard mode within the phone itself. The Hollyland is also in its normal mode, no noise cancellation whatsoever. This is what it sounds like. The AirPod Pro ones did not sound good at all, so I'm not going to include their results in the next tests. I've now turned on voice isolation for the internal microphone coming from the iPhone 17 Pro, specifically the back microphone. We are in a non-sound treated room. I am 4.5 feet away from the camera. This is what it sounds like. You are now listening to the AirPod Pro 3s. This is with voice isolation turned on. I'm only wearing one AirPod right now. This is what it sounds like. I am now wearing both of my AirPod Pro 3s with voice isolation on. This is in a non-sound treated room. This is what it sounds like. Now in the Hollyland, I have turned on its own built-in noise cancellation in a non-sound treated room. So this is what it sounds like. I now have the iPhone's own voice isolation turned on for the microphone. The Hollyland is just sitting at its standard profile, and this is what it sounds like. Now I have the iPhone's own voice isolation, plus also the noise cancellation from the Hollyland Lark M2 in this non-sound treated room. This is what it sounds like. You're now listening to the back internal microphone from the iPhone 17 Pro. The mic setting is set to standard and the bedroom fan is on, so this is what it sounds like. You're now listening to one of the AirPod Pro 3s. The microphone is set to standard and the bedroom fan is on. This is what it sounds like. I am now wearing both of my AirPod 3 Pros. The microphone is set to standard. The bedroom fan is on. This is what it sounds like. I have turned on the bedroom fan for the Hollyland Lark M2. This is at its completely standard mic settings, so this is what it sounds like. You're now listening to the iPhone 17 Pro's back internal microphone that's facing me. I have voice isolation turned on. The fan is turned on. This is what it sounds like. I am now wearing one of my AirPod Pro 3s with the mic setting set to voice isolation. The bedroom fan is on. This is what it sounds like. I am now wearing both of my AirPod Pro 3s. The voice isolation is turned on for the mic settings, and the bedroom fan is on. This is what it sounds like. I have now turned on the noise cancellation that's built into the Hollyland Lark M2 with the bedroom fan on. This is what it sounds like. This is the Hollyland Lark M2 paired with iPhone 17 Pro's voice isolation with the bedroom fan on. This is what it sounds like. Now you're listening to the noise cancellation from the Hollyland as well as the voice isolation from the iPhone 17 Pro with the bedroom fan on. This is what it sounds like. All right, so this is what happens if you're doing a car vlog. I have the front-facing microphone. We are currently in the standard mode, so this is what it sounds like if you're just driving around. All right, so right now I have one AirPod Pro 3 in my ear. We are currently set to standard mode. This is what it sounds like if you are just doing a regular car vlog.
I now have both of my AirPod Pro 3s in. The microphones are set to standard mode, and this is what it sounds like when you are doing a car vlog. All right, so here we are doing a car vlog with a Hollyland Lark M2. This is in standard mode, and this is what it sounds like. And now I have turned on the voice isolation setting for the internal microphone on the iPhone 17 Pro. So this is what it sounds like in a car vlog. All right, so I have one AirPod Pro 3 in. The mic is set to voice isolation, and this is what it sounds like when you're doing a car vlog. I'm now wearing both of my AirPod Pro 3s. We have the voice isolation turned on in the mic. Doing a car vlog, this is what it sounds like. This is the Hollyland Lark M2, but with its built-in noise cancellation turned on. This is what it sounds like during a car vlog. This is the Hollyland Lark M2 with the iPhone's own voice isolation. The built-in noise cancellation is turned off, so this is what it sounds like during a car vlog. This is the Hollyland Lark M2 with the built-in noise cancellation and the iPhone voice isolation turned on, both working at the same time in a car vlog. This is what it sounds like. You're now listening to the front-facing microphone from the iPhone 17 Pro, and this is what it sounds like when the mic setting is set to standard for this neighborhood vlog. Okay, I'm only wearing one AirPod Pro 3 right now. We are currently in the standard mode. There is some wind coming this way, and this is just a quiet little neighborhood vlog. I'm now wearing both of my AirPod Pro 3s. We are now set to the standard mode for the microphones, and this is what it sounds like during a quiet neighborhood vlog. All right, so now you're listening to the Hollyland Lark M2, completely standard, and this is what it sounds like in a quiet neighborhood vlog. You're now listening to the front-facing iPhone 17 Pro microphone. We have voice isolation turned on. This is what it sounds like during a regular vlog. I'm currently wearing one AirPod Pro 3 right now. We have the voice isolation turned on. There is some wind coming this way, and this is what it sounds like if you're just doing a quiet little neighborhood vlog. All right, I'm now wearing both of my AirPod Pro 3s. We are currently in voice isolation mode. The wind has kind of died down just a little bit coming this way, but essentially this is what it sounds like during a little quiet neighborhood vlog. You're now listening to the Hollyland Lark M2, except this time I've turned on its built-in noise cancellation, and this is what it sounds like in a nice neighborhood vlog. You're now listening to the Hollyland Lark M2, except I'm using iPhone's own voice isolation in the mic settings, and this is what it sounds like in this neighborhood vlog. You're now listening to the Hollyland Lark M2 with its built-in noise cancellation, followed by iPhone's own voice isolation, working in tandem together for this neighborhood vlog. All right, so you're currently listening to the internal microphone over a highway overpass. We're on standard. You probably can't hear a thing I'm saying. You're now listening to the AirPod Pro 3, just one of them, and it's on standard. This is what it sounds like over a highway overpass. All right, so now you're listening to both of these AirPod Pro 3s. We're on standard mode over a highway overpass, and this is what it sounds like. You're now listening to the Hollyland Lark M2. We're in standard mode, and this is what it sounds like over a highway overpass. You're now listening to the internal front-facing microphone on the iPhone 17 Pro. I have voice isolation turned on. We're over a highway overpass. This is what it sounds like. You're now listening to one AirPod Pro 3 over a highway, and this is with voice isolation turned on. This is what it sounds like. You're now listening to the audio when I have both of the AirPod Pro 3s in my ears. Voice isolation is turned on. We are currently over a highway overpass. You're now listening to the Hollyland Lark M2. I've turned on its built-in noise cancellation, and this is what it sounds like. You're now listening to the Hollyland Lark M2 with iPhone's voice isolation turned on for the microphone. We're over a highway overpass, and this is what it sounds like. You're now listening to the Hollyland Lark M2, and this is with the built-in noise cancellation and iPhone's voice isolation turned on over a highway overpass. So this is a whisper test. There are people behind me and to the side of me having full-on conversations. Someone is on the phone, and I'm trying not to draw any sort of attention to myself. Like, there's no way any of them can hear me. So this is what it sounds like if you're just trying not to be an a-hole. Yet still making your content in a slightly quiet place. So this is a whisper test of the Hollyland Lark M2. I am whispering the exact same amount. I'm curious to see which one of these is actually going to sound better
when I am barely speaking, like pretty much nobody should be able to hear me. So this is a whisper test between the two microphones that are obviously going to do much better than the internal microphone.
All right, before you guys come at me in the comments, yes, I am obviously aware that the Holly Landmark M2 was going to sound miles better than the AirPod Pro 3's, hands down. But that was never the point of this video. The point of this video is to answer one question, which is, I didn't bring my microphone because I didn't plan to make a video anyways. However, inspiration strikes, and there are two things I am guaranteed to have on me at any given time, which is my iPhone 17 Pro and my AirPods Pro 3. Can I still get a good enough video so that I can get on my way? And the answer is yes. If this is the only microphone you have with you, it is more than good enough to get the video and be on your way. If I had to describe how the AirPod Pro 3s is processing my voice, I have to say that it sounds kind of like NPR radio, where it's just really boomy in the bass, but also super crispy in the highs. It's not necessarily the kind of sound that I like when I'm EQing my voice, but it's also not terrible. The Holly Landmark M2 is going to have a much better frequency response just in general. Like it almost sounds flat in comparison to the AirPod Pro 3s. But obviously, it sounds really good too. Another thing that I like about this whole setup is that I can choose my mic settings to be either standard or with voice isolation. I'm going to choose standard, even though standard still technically processes my voice and the background noise, but it still gives me more information so that I can go into DaVinci Resolve and then manually take away all this insect shrilling sound. That way it sounds probably much better in terms of my voice not getting too messed up by just baked in voice isolation. But just so you guys get a little idea, this is with the voice isolation turned on as I'm walking past all these insects. One of the interesting tests was the practical distance test, in which I took the Hollyland and the AirPod 3 all the way to about 70 feet away. Now, everything sounded fine when I was facing the camera. However, check out what happens when I turn around. Here we are at 70 feet away. Check 1, 2, 3. This should be perfectly fine. And then I'll turn around here. So here we are at 70 feet away with the AirPod Pro 3s. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Turn around here. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so the audio was still able to transmit from 70 feet away with no line of sight. Now, granted, I'm sure my ears weren't necessarily blocking the AirPods all that much compared to the Holly Landmark M2, which my entire body is blocking it. But the cool thing is even from 70 feet away, I was still able to stop the recording by squeezing the stem on the AirPods, which is a new feature that is in the Pro 3s, and it's very welcomed. Now, one thing you need to know is that due to the Bluetooth protocol of these microphones, there is going to be a lag in terms of your audio to your video. And basically how to fix this is you're going to have to go into your editor and make sure you push back your audio approximately 5 to 6 frames. That way it lines up with your mouth. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. The second thing you need to understand is the fact that you probably want to say a little bit of something or just check 1, 2 out of habit. Because depending on how the audio computation is working, it might not catch your voice quick enough. And therefore, in the beginning, you're going to hear your voice actually sound a little different until the computation catches onto your voice. So just make sure you say a little something before you hit record. That way, your audio always sounds great. All right, so after combing through all the tests, I have to say that the AirPod Pro 3s are really, really good for what they are. They're never going to sound as good as the Holly Landmark M2, but let's just take off our filmmaker hat for a second and realize there are other channels out there that don't talk specifically about audio gear to people who are filmmakers. To the normal audience, this is going to sound perfectly fine. And that's all you need. You just need some sort of microphone that gets your voice out clearly. So in those cases, I think this is amazing. And the fact that I am whispering right now, and I'm whispering so, like, there's a speaker up there that's blasting some Smash Mouth right now, and you can't, like, you're still able to hear me just fine. That's awesome, the fact that I'm whispering and not being able to bring attention to myself. So anyways, I think someone's coming, but I just love the fact that I can now film whenever I want because I'll always have my iPhone 17 Pro and my AirPods Pro 3, as well as my Freewell travel tripod that just stays in my cars for emergencies. Between those three things, I am capable of filming whenever I want and get the content I need right on the spot. So Anyways, let me know in the comments if you plan to get some AirPod Pro 3s for your content creation, no matter what genre you're in. And see you guys in the next one.